60 Minutes Rewind.
The Eiger in the Swiss Alps is one of the most forbidding mountains in the world. Locals call it the ogre. And for more than a century, this monster of a mountain has attracted thrill seekers eager to risk their lives on its nearly vertical slopes. More than 60 climbers have frozen or fallen to their deaths. Now, a new breed of daredevil is taking on the Eiger, not by climbing up the mountain, but by plunging down it. When we heard that after years of planning, a new kind of descent was about to be attempted, we went to Switzerland to see firsthand something no one had ever tried before. At 13,000 feet, the icy summit of the Eiger is too steep and rocky to simply ski down.
You ready?
So JT Holmes is training in 3 extreme sports to rocket down more of the Eiger than anyone ever has. Right now, he's practicing one of those sports, speed riding, on a nearby mountain slope with his friend and cameraman, Valentin Deluc. To speed ride, JT is using skis, but he's also attached to a glider-like parachute called a speed wing. It allows him to soar over rocks and ledges impossible to ski.
You're capable of transitioning in and out of flight at will.
So you're both skiing and then you're flying. And then you're skiing a little bit more.
Exactly.
But speed riding will only take JT so far down the Eiger. He'll also ski off a cliff and then free fall the rest of the way, all in one long, non-stop, breathtaking ride.
3 sports, 1 run. And they're my 3 favorite sports, so.
These are the 3 things you love?
Yeah, these are 3 of the things that I love.
JT needs perfect conditions for this dangerous descent, and so far he hasn't been lucky. Weather on the Eiger is unpredictable. Fierce winds whip the slopes and change direction dramatically. JT checks the Eiger every day to see if he can finally head to the summit. The past 2 years, he's had to cancel plans because wind blew the snow off the top of the mountain.
Today, the conditions are not right.
Well, yeah, today you can't even see the top of the Eiger, so first of all, you couldn't land a helicopter up there.
How long have you been planning this?
You know, the first kind of thoughts of it were upwards of 6 years ago, but really focused on it for 3.
Why is it taking so long?
Be putting your life, you know, in unnecessary risk, so I need the right day.
JT is well aware of the risk. He started out as a professional skier. The steeper the slope, the better.
Ready, set, go!
Now at 35, he makes a living through endorsements and filming his remarkable feats. When we first met him 6 years ago in Norway, he and his daredevil friends were pioneering the use of wingsuits, jumping off mountains and flying at more than 100 miles an hour. But in the last several years, a number of JT's friends and acquaintances have died in wingsuit accidents. Eiler Ruud, who was flying with JT in Norway, was killed in 2012 when he struck a cliff and fell 1,000 feet. JT won't be wingsuit flying off the Eiger. The most dangerous part of his descent will be after he finishes speed riding, when he tries to jettison his skis and free fall down the rest of the mountain. To practice, he makes base jumps without skis off a tiny, slippery piece of rock he calls the mushroom.
I stepped off the helicopter onto the mushroom, and that was fine. I had good grip. But then I took another step, and there was this really thin ice layer.
Yeah, it feels more uneven than I remember it.
He's off. He falls for about 20 seconds, accelerating to 110 miles an hour before opening his parachute.
He's starting right toward us. The parachute's open. It's a white parachute. He's red. That was amazing. How was it?
Scary.
When JT jumps off the cliff on the Eiger, he'll have his skis on. Properly releasing them is critical.
What's the danger if you can't get the skis off?
You're at risk of an unstable parachute deployment or a snag.
So the biggest danger is that the ski is going to get tangled up in the parachute.
That's the risk.
That risk is foremost in his mind because of what happened to his best friend, Shane McConkey. In 2007, JT and Shane started skiing off mountains, dropping their skis, and then flying away in wingsuits. It was a dangerous combination they found thrilling.
Oh yeah, another wingsuit ski base. Here we go.
But on this jump in Italy in 2009, Shane McConkey's ski release mechanism jammed. He couldn't get his skis to come off. He crashed into the ground at high speed and was killed instantly.
That's how he died. His skis didn't come off.
He couldn't get his skis off, struggled in his wingsuit, and crashed.
When JT is training at the Eiger, he wears a t-shirt with a funny picture of Shane on it.
This Eiger descent,
Without his old friend there to help him, he's turned to new friends. Martin Sherman is an experienced Swiss mountain guide.
They can change very quickly, from good conditions to really nasty.
It can turn bad very quickly.
Oh yeah, and then you're in trouble.
One wrong step and you can plunge off.
You're gone.
Martin and JT are cautious and methodical, making numerous trips up the Eiger to plan in advance every part of the complex descent, particularly this spot where JT will jump, jettison his skis, and begin to free fall.
You're standing there on the top of the mountain. What goes through your mind?
there's two mindsets. You know, there's the evil Knievel, which is kind of kamikaze and who knows how it's going to work out and will you hit the landing ramp or not. And then there's the James Bond. And Bond is composed and dialed, and he uses clever pieces of gear which he developed with Q to, you know, outwit his opponents and pull off tremendous things.
Which one are you?
I'm Bond.
After days of waiting and years of false starts and canceled attempts, on this visit in April, the weather on the mountain suddenly clears. JT decides the time is right. He and his team take a chopper to the Eiger summit.
I'm checking for landmarks on the way up and kind of confirming my line, my path of descent.
So you already have a path of descent in your mind?
It's something that's been memorized.
The Eiger may be a monster of a mountain, but up close, the summit is shockingly small. Here, there is no room for error, no room for the helicopter.
It's not big enough for the helicopter to actually land.
It does what we call a toe-in, where it just puts its nose into the Eiger and it just hovers there.
How big is the area that you're standing on at the top?
The top of the Eiger is pretty small. There is no flat spot. You know, workable space is 3 ping pong tables.
3 ping pong tables?
Yeah.
That's it?
Something like that, yeah.
A mistake here, one wrong step at 13,000 feet could cost them their lives. JT and his team work for almost an hour. Wearing crampons on their ski boots, they dig trenches with ice axes so they won't fall down the nearly vertical slope. The surface is jagged ice, not powdery snow, and it can easily rip the speed wings.
I don't like how these things grab the lines.
They file down the sharp pieces of ice so they won't snag the speed wing lines. But the wind kicks up, and they have to quickly reposition them. JT decides it's now or never.
Okay, you're good? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go!
JT launches off the summit. Champion speed rider Valentin Deloup quickly follows, videotaping for us with a camera on his helmet. The ride of a lifetime has begun.
That's when you turn your skis downhill. Now, doing that, that's very committing, because you point your skis down the Eiger, you're probably not going to stop till the bottom.
One way or the other?
One way or the other.
JT uses the speed wing for much of the descent, flying over outcroppings of rock and icy slopes too steep to ski. He reaches an open slope on the Eiger's western flank and lands. He cuts loose his speed wing so it won't slow him down. Now he relies solely on his skis and skill.
It's black diamond skiing. You're in a really cool place where few people have skied. Really what you're trying to do is just gather as much speed as possible and just propel yourself off the cliff.
The cliff he'll ski off is coming up fast. This is the most dangerous part of JT's descent. There is no stopping. He completes a double backflip to stabilize himself, releases his skis, then free falls. His nylon suit is aerodynamically designed, propelling him forward so he doesn't crash into any rock ledges. He falls nearly 2,000 feet, finally opening his parachute.
Woohoo! Yeah! Yeah, buddy! Woohoo!
He drifts safely to the ground, landing more than a mile below the Eiger summit.
Whoa, dude! Woo! Oh my God! That was pretty intense, man.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. I don't have words to describe how it felt to go and pull that off after so much time. And, you know, it's kind of a twisted style of having fun, but it was really fun.
If you're too fast, it's a little just kind of scary.
We assumed JT would call it a day after making it down the Eiger in one piece. But after catching his breath and repacking his equipment, he decides to head back to the summit and do the whole run down the mountain once again.
The story will continue after this.
3, 2, 1, go!
His speed ride off the summit goes perfectly. He flies over trouble spots and builds up speed as he approaches the cliff edge. But when he tries to release his skis, one of them won't come off. This is what killed his best friend, Shane McConkey. JT struggles for several agonizing seconds, then finally manages to drop the ski. It's a close call, but it doesn't seem to stop him from enjoying the rest of the ride.
Could you give it up?
I believe that I could, because I don't feel that I'm, addicted to this sort of type of thing, this adrenaline or this sort of high-risk activity.
You're not an adrenaline junkie, you don't think?
Absolutely not. I prefer adrenaline enthusiast. And I truly believe that I don't have to do this, and I truly believe that I enjoy doing this.
That's pretty clear.
The day will come when I tone it down significantly.
But that day's not here yet.
It's not today.